A very good morning, all of you. Welcome to the lecture number 48. In the last lecture, we have seen how to design the synchronous counter using T flip-flop as well as modulus counter using T flip-flop. In today's lecture, I am going to show you how to design the mod counter using JK flip-flop. And then after, I am going to show you how to design the use the presetable counter. So your presetable counter will count from any starting point. Need not be 0, it can be start from 1, it can be start from 3, whichever number you want. Then finally I am going to tell you how your shift resistor is going to work as a counters, how you can use your shift resistors as a counters to count a desired number of states, a desired number of pulses. This is for today's lecture. Let's start with design of mod 6 counter, mod 6 synchronous counter using JK flip-flop. So as usual, I am going to follow the same procedure which we followed till now. So step number 1. So if you look at here, mod 6 means is going to count from 0 to 5. That means total 6 states. So if you want to count 0 to 5, you need at least minimum 3 flip-flops. Step number 2, you are supposed to make the state diagram. So state diagram will give you how your counting sequence will take place. That means 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and 5 to 0. If 6 comes into picture, it goes to 0. If 7 also comes into picture, it also goes to 0. If you write in a binary equivalent, so it starts with all zeros. Then goes to 0, 0, 1, then goes to 0, 1, 0, then goes to 0, 1, 1, then goes to 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, then goes to 0. Similarly, if 6 comes also, if at all the circuit amplifier goes to 6, it automatically goes to 0, 0. Similarly, if it goes to all ones also, so goes to 0, 0. This is my state diagram. Now I am going to make state table consisting of present state and next state. That is my step 3. So let's take step 3. So present state and next state, Q0, Q1, Q2, and Q0 star, Q1 star, and Q2 star. So it starts with 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 1, and 0, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 2, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 2, all zeros. This is an important point because your counting sequence has desired counting is reached 0 to 5, then 5 to 0. Then similarly, if 6 comes also, it also goes to all zeros. If 7 comes also, it also goes to all zeros. This is my step number 3, state table. Now we will go to the step number 4. Step number 4 is selection of flip-flops. Since I want to make with JK flip-flop, I am going to take JK flip-flops. And step number 5, I am going to make the excitation table. So if you want to make the excitation table, you should know the JK flip-flop excitation table. So if you look at the JK flip-flop excitation table, Qn plus 1, J comma K, 0 to 0 will be 0 to x, 0 to 1 will be 1 comma x, 1 to 0 will be x comma 1, and 1 to will be x comma 0. This is my JK flip-flop excitation table. I am going to use this for writing the required input for this particular transitions. So I am supposed to make J2 K2, J0 K0, J1 K1, and J0 and K0. If you look at 0 to 1 transition for Q0, 0 to 1 will be 0x, will be 1 comma x, then 1 to 0 will be x comma 1, 0 to 1 will be 1 comma x, 1 to 0 will be x comma 1, 0 to 1 will be 1 comma x, 1 to 0 will be x comma 1, 0 to 0 will be 0 comma x, and 0 to 0 will be, this is 1 to 0 will be x comma 1. So this is the J0 and K0 inputs for J0, K0 input which are required for the Q0 transitions. I will make for J1 and K1. 0 to 0 will be 0 comma x, 0 to 1 will be 1 comma x, and 1 to 1 will be x comma 0, and 1 to 0 will be x comma 1, 0 to 0 will be 0 comma x, 0 to 0 will be 0 comma x, and 1 to 0 and 1 to 0 x comma 1 and x comma 1. And if you look at the Q2, 0 to 0, 0 to 0, 0 to 0, that means 0x, 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 then 0 to 1, 1 comma x, then 1 to 1, x comma 0, then 1 to 0, 1 to 0, 1 to 0, that means x comma 1, x comma 1 and x comma 1. So this is a required input one should have for the all the three flippers so that it will count from 0 to 5. Now I need to make total 6 K maps. Okay, need 2 K maps for each flipper. Now we'll see how to make the K maps, how to get the minimize rate. So let us make K map for J0 and K0. So if we make it for J0, Q2 bar, Q2, Q1 bar and Q0 bar, Q1 bar into Q0, Q1, Q0, Q1, Q0 bar. So if I fill for J0, 1x, 1x, 0 and x. Similarly for K0, x comma 1, x comma 1, x comma 1, x comma 1. So I can form one octet using all these ones. That means my K0 should be 1 always. And if you look at here, I can form one quad here and one more quad here. So I can write my J0 as Q2 bar. If I consider this quad, if I consider this quad, I'm going to get it as Q1 bar. This is my J0, K0 input. Similarly, if I do it for J1 and K1, so if we fill for J1, 0, 1, 0, 1, XX, and 0, 0, XX. So I can make one pair here. So my J1 will be Q2 bar into Q0. So if I fill for K1, XX, 0, 1, XX, 1, 1. So I can make this as one quad and this as another quad. So I can write my K1 as Q2 plus Q0. Similarly, if you do it for J2, so if you write for J2, 0, 0, 0, 1, then X, 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 X. So I can make this as a pair. So my J2 will be Q1 into Q0. So if you make it for K2, X, 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 then 0, 1, so I can make this as one quad and this as another quad, so I can write my K2 as Q0 plus Q1. So these are the required inputs for all the three flip-flops. So I'm going to connect all these inputs to the flip-flops and try to simulate the same circuit by using a gate software in a moment. Let's see. So this here MOD6 counter, if you look at here, these are the three JK flip-flops and common clear input is given, common preset input is given, and this is my clock. And this is my input to J, and if you look at here, K is always connected to 1. Similarly, these are the two AND gates whose output is given to your second flip-flop as well as your second and third flip-flop. Similarly, these OR gates are given as input to the K. If you look at your expressions, your J1 is Q2 bar into Q0. So that means you require AND gate. Similarly, your J2 is Q1 into Q0. That means you require a AND gate. So that's why these two AND gate are used for the J input. Similarly, if you look at the K expression, K1 is Q0 plus Q2 and your K2 is Q0 plus Q1. That's why we use the OR gate to get the required input to the required flip-flops. So if I start the simulation, it's going to count only from 0 to 5. Let's start. So let's reset all the flip-flops to 0. Now it is 0. The moment I make my clear to 1, it's going to count only from 0 to 5. You can watch it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 0. So this is how we can design any modulus counter depending on our interest by considering all the possible states of your flip-flop, and whichever the state is required, you have to write that particular output. If the state is not required, then we will make that particular output to all 0 states. So this is how we can design the circuits. So now let us talk about the second topic which we already said, presettable counters. So for making the presettable counters, you are going to use the same counting circuits. You are going to use the same counting circuit, either up counting or down counting, with a slight modification. We are going to do a slight modification. So the slight modification we are going to do it preset and clear inputs. This is how you can. So we are going to modify this preset and clear inputs, because there is only one way we can preload your flip-flop outputs to desired state. Either if you make a preset equals 0, all will be 1, clear it will be all zeros. So this is the one way of setting all the flip-flops to 1, all the flip-flops to 0, 0. Now we are going to modify such a way that I can take my flip-flops to any desired state, right? It may be 1, 0, 0 state or 0, 1, 0 state or 0, 1, 1 state. Any state I can preload my flip-flop output so that the counting will start from that next number. Suppose if it is 4, next will be 5, 6 and so on. And if it is 2, it will be 2, 3, 4 and so on. So that means I'm going to modify slightly this preset and clear input to the flip-flop. That means I'm going to an extra circuit. That circuit going to load the data, whichever the number you want to start for the particular counter. Then and after that you are going to run the normal counting sequence. Now we will see what kind of change we have made it, so that it's going to act as a presettable counter in a moment. Now coming to the circuits, this is the circuit. If you ignore this all the NAND gates, so if you look at only this internal, so this only the circuit which I am referring, there's nothing but your up counting circuit. This is my LSB Q0 and this is my MSB. You are supposed to read something like this in this direction. Now if you observe carefully here, your preset and clear are given with an extra circuit. So if you observe the first one, if you observe the first chain, there is an extra input called PL bar. If PL bar is 0, what happens? We'll see. If PL bar is 0, if you look at here, the 0 becomes 1 here. This 1 is connected here, here and here, and similarly here, similarly here, and similarly here. So when PL bar is connected, your NAND gates will get 1 as input. So that means your NAND gate has to wait for the second input. Okay. So in this case, let us assume I want to Your NAND gate input value depends upon your P2, P1 and P0. So whatever the value you are going to give, that will decide what is the preset input, what is the clear input for the 3 flip-flops. Let us assume here my P2 is 0, P1 is 1, P0 is 1. So that means I am going to make my P2 0 and this is 1 and this is a 1. So if you observe carefully, your P2 is connected through a NOT gate to the second NAND gate bottom side. That means P2 is 0, this becomes 1. If P1 is 1, this becomes 0. Now if you observe, this 1 into 1 will be 1, 1 bar will be 0. 0 into 1 will be 0, 0 bar will be 1. Similarly, if you look at here, 1 into 0 will be 0, 0 bar will be 1. And 1 into 1 will be 1, 1 bar will be 0. 1 into 1 will be 1, 1 bar will be 0. So if you observe carefully, your clear and preset inputs are opposite to each other. If you look at it, this is 1, 0, 0, this is 0, 1, 1. So wherever you have a clear equals 0, that place, that particular output will goes to 0 state. Wherever your preset input is 0, that particular output goes to 1 state. So in this case, my Q1 becomes, Q0 becomes 1 because its preset input is 0, and Q1 also 1 because this preset input is 0. But if you look at here, for P2, your preset input is 1, but if you look at here, clear input is 0. That means it's going to clear. That means your Q2 will be 0. If you observe the output of these 3 flip-flops, you are actually loaded 0, 1, 1 into your flip-flops. If you observe clear, you are loaded 0, 1, 1 into your flip-flops. Now if I make my PL bar equals to 1, so let's see what happens when PL bar equals 1. What happens, we will see in a moment. If my PL bar equals to 1, if my PL bar equals to 1, so that means this becomes 0, 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 and this also becomes 0. That means this will be 1, this will be 1, this will be 1, irrespective of the P2, P1 and P0. You don't have to care about the P0, P1, P2 because your one input of the NAND gate is 0. Automatically, the output of the NAND gate will be 1. So if clear equals to 1 and preset equals to 1 for both for all the flip-flops, that means it's going to act as your preset is 1 and clear also 1. So it means going to act as a normal JK flip-flop operation. It's not going to clear, it's not going to preset your flip-flop. It's going to be a normal JK flip-flop operation. If you go to the previous slide, so that means when PL equals to 1, it's going to count starting from 3 because it's already loaded with 0, 1, 1. So next state will be 1, 0, 0 and so on. So that means when PL equals 0, when PL bar equals 0, this is called load. Whatever the values at P2, P1 and P0, that will be loaded into your flip-flop outputs. Once it is loaded, you are going to make my PL bar equals to 1 so that your counter will count whatever the data it is loaded from the P0, P1 and P2. Let's take one more example to load a certain number into your flip-flop outputs. So let's take, I want to count from, let's say, let's say 1, 0, 0. Okay, that means 4. I want to count it from 4. So that means I'm supposed to load P2 equals to 1, P1 equals 0 and P2 equals 0. So first I have to apply PL equals 0. That means PL bar equals 0 to load. When PL bar equals 0, this will be 1, 1, 1. Here also 1, here also 1, here also 1. So this 1 into 1 will be 1, 1 bar will be 0. This 0 into 1 will be 0, 0 bar will be 1. 1 into 0 will be 0, 0 bar will be 1 here. And the same P2 is applied through a NOT gate here. That means this becomes 0. And this 0 becomes 1 here. And this 0 becomes 1 here. 1 into 1 will be 1, 1 bar will be 0. 1 into 1 will be 1, 1 bar will be 0. 0 into 1 will be 0, 0 bar will be 1. If you observe carefully here, for Q3 your preset is 0. That means your Q2 becomes 1 here. And for this your preset is 1. That means not going to preset. But if you look at here, your clear is 0. That means your Q1 becomes 0 and Q0 also becomes 0. That means you are going to get your Q2, Q1 and Q0 as 1, 0, 0. Now your parallel data is loaded. Now what I'm going to do is, after the data is loaded, I'm going to make my PL bar equals to 1. The moment I make my PL bar equals to 1, my all the clear input and preset input becomes 1. My preset and clear bar input becomes 1 for all the flip-flops. Now it's going to act as a normal JK flip-flop operation. So in that case, I'm going to count from 1002 to 101 and so on till 7, then goes to all 0 states. So it's a up counter, count from 0 to 7. So with the extra, this NAND gate and extra circuitry, I can load any design number into the flip-flops and my counting will start from that particular state only. Now I'm going to show the same circuit using DEED software, how we are going to load and how we are going to run the desired sequence. So this is the same circuit what I will discuss till now. As usual, we are having 3 JK flip-flops. Now you have to consider this is Q0, Q1 and Q2, because in the slide it is in other way around, it is opposite side. You are having Q3 here, Q1, Q2 here and Q0 here, but here it is Q0, Q1 and Q2. And these are my parallel load. So whatever the data I am going to give you, that will be loaded into flip-flops. And from there your counting going to take place. First what we do is, we will try to load a certain number. Let's say I want to load 100. Let's run the simulation. I want to make 100. That means I want to count from 4. This is your Q3 or Q2, Q1 and Q0. 100 means 4. The moment I apply my parallel load to 0, it is going to load the desired numbers. You can see here, the moment I made my parallel load equals 0, it is loaded with 4. Suppose if I make 110, it will be 6. If I make all ones, it will be 7 is loaded. So I will make it back to 100. I want to load only 100 to my flip-flop output, so that I want to start my counting from 4. The moment I make my parallel load equals to 1, it is going to count from 4. We'll see. I can see 4, 5, 6, 7 and again it goes to 0 and it will be in the same loop. Again I am going to load. So again it is going to start from 4 only. Again 5. So again you can load. Again unload. So whenever you want to load a design number, just make it load equals 0 and put the design number over there. Let me, I want to start from, let's say 3. So now it's counting going to start from 3. So you can see 3, 4, 5. Again if I press load, again start from 3. So this is how you can use the circuit for counting a design number, like design number as my starting point. Now let us see the shift register counters, how we are going to make the shift register counters. In shift register counters, we are going to use serial in and serial out configuration of your shift registers. So let's take a simple example. Serial in and serial out. Let's take 4 flip-flops. Let's take 4 D flip-flops in serial in serial out configuration. So this output is given as input here, same thing here, same thing here, and this output, the last flip-flop output, and clock is given for all the flip-flops simultaneously. Let's say this is my D0, D1, D2 and D3. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a small change here. So I'm going to make this output as a feedback to the first flip-flop input. This is the only change I'm going to do, and this is the first change. First change is feedback. And second change is I'm going to manually set D0 output to 1 for a short period. Or I'm going to make my D0 output as 1, and after that I'm going to apply the clock. So this clock will be applied after making my D0 equals to 1. So So initially I am going to keep my D0 equals to 1. That means this will be 1 and rest all will be zeros. And after that I am going to apply my clock. If the clock is applied, first it will be 1 0 0. This is my D3, D2, D1 and D0. In the next clock pulse, the first clock pulse, in the second clock pulse it will be this 0 will be travel back here and this 0 goes here, this 1 goes here and this 0. So in this case it is going to be 0 1 0 0. In the next clock pulse it will be 0 0 1 0. In the next clock pulse it will be 0 0 1. In the fifth clock pulse it will be again 1 0 0. So that means if you look at here, this is one cycle. So that means it is going through 4 different states, that is 1 0 0, 0 1 0 0, 0 0 1 0 and 0 0 1. So that means your counter, this counter which we designed can count 4 pulses or 4 events. Suppose you want to count more than that, suppose you want to count n pulses or n events, you can use n flip-flops. So why we prefer this kind of counter is, it is easy to design. If you look at here, there is not much complex circuit. It's just a feedback connection from the last flip-flop to the first flip-flop, and it's going to count in the 4 different states. Suppose if I want to count from 0 to 15, I can connect my 15 flip-flops and last flip output will be given as input. And before I am going to start my counting, I am going to make my first flip-flop output to 1 manually by using preset input. Now I am going to show you working of this circuit, how it is going to work. This circuit is called a ring counter. Even though it is called shift register counter, we call this a ring counter because it will be in the same loop forever. Suppose if you look at here, this 1 0 0 again back to 1 0 0 here. So this will be in the loop forever as long as your clock pulse is applied. That's why it's called as a ring counter. I'll show the simulation of this particular circuit in a moment. So this is a circuit which we discussed till now. If you observe carefully, these are my 4 D flip-flops. I have given the last flip-flop output as input to the first flip-flop, and this is my Q0, Q1, Q2 and Q3. And if you observe carefully, my clear input is common for all the 4 flip-flops. And but the preset, if you look at here, for the last 3 flip-flops I have given a common preset. And I have given a separate preset for the first flip-flop because I want to make this flip-flop output 1 before my counting going to start. Okay, so I am going to run the simulation and try to show you. So what I am going to do, initially I am going to clear all the flip-flops to 0. Now the clock is applied because your 0 is circulating. Now what I am going to do is I am going to make my first flip-flop output to 1 before the next active clock pulse comes. Now if you observe carefully, your 1 is circulating or your 4 states are going to change. So now it's going to be 1 0 0, then 0 1 0 0, then 0 0 1 0, then 0 0 1, then again come back to the same 1 0 0 state. So this is how your ring counter going to count for different states. Only thing you should remember is you have to give carefully your preset input. Suppose if I take a longer period, what happens? This clock is activated. If you keep preset for longer time, this 1 will go to this flip-flop and again go to this flip-flop. I'll show you what happens if we keep for a longer time. Let's make it clear all one. So I'm going to keep my preset input for longer period. You can observe this first becomes 1 and this 1 will transfer and this also becomes 1. If you look at here, so if you check now, you can see here now 2 1s are two flip-flop outputs are 1 1. Now 2 1 1s are circulating between the flip-flop outputs. That's why you should keep your preset input for a short period of time before the next active clock comes, and only one flip-flop should be preset to 1 state. So something like this. So now only first flip-flop is set to 1, so this 1 is circulating. As a result, you are going to get 4 different states. Now we are going to see the next shift register based counter. Next shift register counter is called Johnson counter. or a twisted ring counter. So it is same as your previous ring counter, only difference is we are going to make feedback from a different connection. Now we'll see what is the change we are going to see. So as usual, I'm going to take 4 D flip-flop, serial in, serial out configuration. So same thing, this will be connected here, connected here, connected here. This is last flip-flop output, but instead of this output as an input for the first flip-flop, I'm going to make this as input for the first. The feedback is changed. Previously it is from Q, now it is from a Q bar. This is my D0, D1, D2 and D3. This is my Q3 and this is my Q3 bar. This time I am making my Q3 bar as input to the first flip-flop. Same thing, clock is given as usual. Now let us assume before clock applies, my D0, D1, D2 and D3 are all zeros. That means this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, but this is 1. Remember, this is important. This is 1. In the next clock pulse, in the first clock pulse applied, this 1 will goes from here, goes here and applied here. That means my D0 becomes 1, rest will be zeros. Again, your Q3 bar is 1 because this 0 is shifted to here. In the second clock pulse, you are going to travel, you are going to get this 1 travel back input as 1 here. This already having 1 input, that means you are going to get 1 1 0 0. Again this again 1 because this 0 will come here now. So in the third clock pulse it will be 1 1 0. In the fourth clock pulse, in the fourth clock it will be all ones. When all ones are there, please remember, when you are having all ones, when you are having all one, that means this is 1, this is 1, this is 1 and this is 1. That means your Q3 bar becomes 0. In the next clock cycle, your 0 will go act as input to the first flip-flop. That means you are going to get 0, 1, 1. Again your Q3 bar will be 0 because this is again 1. So in the 6th clock, 6th cycle will be 0, 0, 1, 1. 7th clock cycle it will be 0, 0, 1 and 8th clock cycle will be all zeros. And 9th will be again 1, 0, 0 because at this place your corresponding Q3 bar will be 1. This acts as input to the first flip-flop. So that means your Johnson counter going to count total 8 states or 8 events. That means your Johnson counter can be useful wherever you want to count 8 pulses or 8 events. Now I am going to show you this circuit. This time we don't have to give manually preset to any flip-flop. It automatically starts the counting process. Let's see the simulation in a moment. So this is a Johnson and twisted ring counter. If you look at here, everything is same. 4 flip-flops are connected. And if you look at the last flip-flop, Q bar is connected as an input to the first flip-flop. I am going to run the simulation. So let's make it all to all zeros. The moment I make my clear equals on, it is going to start with first all zeros, then 1 0 0, then 1 1 0 0 and 1 1 0 and 4 ones, and it goes on as the sequence which we discussed just now. Let's see. Now you can observe carefully. 1 0 0, then 1 1 0 0, then 1 1 0, then 4 ones, then 0 1 1, then 0 0 1 1, then 0 0 1, and 4 zeros, again 1 0 0. So this is how it is going to count 8 different states or different events wherever we want to count. So this is all for your shift register based counter. In the next lecture we are going to see a sequence generation and what are the problems associated with the Johnson counter and ring counter in the next lecture. Thank you all.